we're talking about lesson 1-8. Talking about perimeter and area. For now, we're going to focus on perimeter and area. The first perimeter and area we're talking about is a square. Okay, so talking about a square, you need to just know about simple facts about a square. Is, you know, as a fact of the square, you know that all four sides are congruent. So let's add that in. All four sides are congruent. If you don't know what congruent means, then it means that they have the same measurements. Okay. Another thing about a square is you know that all the edges are kind of a right angle, right? They're all straight. So you know that all of the angles on a square is equals to 90 degrees. So you can put as another fact that it has 4 right angles. This is a symbol for angles, okay? Just letting you know in advance. Okay, so we're gonna go to our first example here. Example number 1. I think it looks the same. Whoops. To know that it is a square, make sure that they have the tick marks or 4 right angles. So here you know that it is 5 meters here. So now we're going to try to find the perimeter of this diagram that's provided to us. How do you find the perimeter? All you need to do is just add all the example number 1's question. What are we going to be adding, right, to find the perimeter? You use a P to represent perimeter. So here I know that the tick marks represent that they are all congruent. So I know that this will be 5F, this will be 5F, and this will also be 5 meters. Sorry, not 5F, but 5 meters. Okay. Then, since I know that the perimeter just needs for me to add all the sides to equal the perimeter, I'm going to add 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, and will equal to the perimeter, which will equal to 20 meters. Okay. Another way, a couple students might have a different strategy, which is you count how many 5s you have, right? That's not incorrect. That's like a shortcut to yourself. It's up to you on how you want to understand it. How many 5s do we have? We have a total of 4 5s, right? Or you can say 4 sides. And you know the value of the sides are 5. 4 times 5 is still equal to the perimeter, which equals to 20 meters. Okay. Well, that makes sense. I try to give you a different perspective to answer the question. You can just add all the sides, or you can multiply the sides by 4, which is 4 times 5, which equals to 20. Okay. So now we're going to our example number 2. We're going to find the area of the diagram. I kind of make it bigger just so I can show a better example of an area. We're still going to be using the same value, which is 5F or 5 meters. Okay. So to find the area, we're going to be using the formula of to find the area, we're going to be using the formula of area equals base times height. Okay. So now, how do we find the base and the height? You're going to ask. You can abbreviate this as A and B times H, or how you say it is area equals base times height. And then you convert that into a letter, you lose the value. So example number 2, how do you find the base and the height? What I like to use is the right angles. In our fact check, we know that in a square there's 4 right angles. The right angle will be your guide to finding your base and height. So I just chose the one on the bottom left. So I know that since this is the right angle, and I know that this is going from bottom to the top, then I know that this will be my height. Since I know that this is the bottom part, then this will be my base. You're going to ask, why is there no value? A lot of times in mathematics, you don't have to write down that there's a 5. You can already conclude that there's a 5 because you know that the tick marks represent that they are all congruent. So for me and a lot of students, they like to just write it just in case so they can keep tabs on it. You're going to have the base, which is 5f, and the height, which is 5f. How do you know that that is your base and your height? Because they're connected through the right angle. And it'll make sense later on. So we're going to use the formula. Area equals the base, which is 5, and the height, which equals to 5. Okay. So the area for this question will be 25 meters. And whenever you're going to have the value given here, you always have to square it. Okay? When it's talking about an area, how much space it's taking within that area, you have to always put the square. Okay? And I'll explain. Of course, the first vocabulary word we're learning about is perimeter, and the second one was area. What's the difference between a perimeter and area, right? We kind of briefly explained it, but a perimeter, basically we're doing is just counting the distance of the outside of the shape of the square, right? We're talking about adding 5, and then we're just adding the next 5, the outside of the sides, and we're talking about the last, all 4 5s, right? If you go from this point to this point, that is 5. And if we're running, a lot of us ran when we were young in elementary school, right? We're running around a building. If we run from this point to this point, it will be 5 meters. And if we run from this point to this point, will be another 5 meters, that would equal 10 meters. We add another 5 meters from this, it will be another 5 meters, that would equal 15 meters. And we run from this point to this point, that would add another 5 meters, will total up to 20 meters that we're running, right? The thing about perimeter as that is when you measure the outside distance, right? And you add all the sides. An area is kind of different. So the area is talking about the inside. The perimeter is talking about the outside. The area is talking about the inside. So how does that look like? We're going to be, I'll just draw it real quick. So there's going to be 5 columns. Based on the base, there's going to be 5 different columns. And based on the rows, there's going to be 5. There's going to be 5 on the height. There's 5. We're going to have 5 rows as well. So what's going to happen is, if you see the area, it's talking about the inside, right? How do you count it? You just basically count it by the squares. That's why we also put a square here, because it's taking up the whole area. So here you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. There's 25 squares within that area, right? So that's kind of the difference, right? The perimeter is talking about the outside distance. Here it's talking about how much space it's taking within the shape of a square. Okay, and that is